It is the world's greatest spy device. We are allowing these devices to basically become our masters. While you are watching your phone is watching you. It should be waking people up. We buy them so they can spy on us. People should listen. If everybody knew everything about everyone else, we would have chaos. Over half of all smartphones are infected.
Your identity will be stolen.
Every site in the world, how do you think they make their money? The instant you visit the site, the very first video that you watch downloads a keylogger. Cyber mafia are so powerful, they pay hundreds of millions of dollars to these sites to allow them to access your smartphone so that at some point they can utilize that. That's crazy. It is the only phone that cannot be remotely rooted or remotely jailbroken. This is the problem that cybersecurity professionals face every day. While you are watching your phone is watching you. The operating system is designed specifically to watch you, listen to you, find out where you are. It needs to know who your friends are. It needs to know what you're saying in your text messages. It needs to listen to you sometimes. It is the world's greatest spy device. But hackers use those same facilities. They are built into the operating system. If a hacker gets access to those facilities, they may choose to empty my bank account without my permission or knowledge, or to steal my identity, or to start charging things on my credit cards. That's the problem that we have, and that's just on the individual level. On the corporate level, it's horrific because the problem is magnified by the number of people within the corporation. And on the nation-state level, it's even more horrific. Almost every developed nation has the ability to press a button and destroy the power grid in any other nation. This is the facts. This is not science fiction. What I just told you is real, nevertheless. People should listen. I built the first antivirus company. Viruses are not the problem. The hackers spend weeks, months, or sometimes years sniffing around in your system, taking what they want before they even plant malware. Every hacker has to go through certain steps in order to break into any system and do damage. The first thing they have to do is to get through the firewall, and then they have to find out where they are. So they sniff every device on the network. That's crazy. I've even heard people at Google say that if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Well, I've never heard anything crazier. If everybody knew everything about everyone else, we would have chaos in the streets. It's insane to say, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. We're all humans. Now something that you may not know is that over half of all smartphones, both iOS and Android, are infected with keystroke logging software. Every pornography site in the world, how do you think they make their money? This is the issue. It costs millions of dollars to maintain these massive databases and have the bandwidth to disperse this pornography, and yet you don't pay? Yes, you're paying. The instant you visit the site, if you have an Android, for example, the site runs a JavaScript which sets the download unauthorized application flag. The very first video that you watch, you clicked, you did something. Downloads, first and foremost, a remote rooting function. If it's an iPhone, a remote jailbreaking program. All can be remotely rooted now. After it's rooted, they download a keylogger, and all this takes just a matter of seconds. And from that point on, somebody is watching every single one of your keystrokes. Now, people pay these pornography sites for the ability to put their keylogging software on your phones. Why? Maybe you do online banking, all right? You have a password, you have an application. The very first time you've logged into your bank to check your balance or do anything, they go, thank you very much. And the next day, your bank balance will disappear. Now, why has this not happened to you already? Because hackers are not stupid. In order to take something, they have to download additional software. If they only take 400 or 500 people's bank accounts in one day, then the next day, the white hat hackers are going to say, this is how they did it. Everybody, you can protect yourself. No, they're going to wait until one day this year or next year, and 100 million people in one day are going to have your bank accounts eradicated. zero balance, or your identity will be stolen, or your Bitcoin wallet will be emptied. Or maybe they've been watching your keystrokes to see if, maybe you're saying something to a friend or a lover that maybe could compromise you. Maybe they can blackmail you. So this is why this is being done. And the Russian cyber mafia and the Chinese cyber mafia are so powerful. They pay literally hundreds of millions of dollars to these pornography sites to allow them to access your smartphone so that at some point they can utilize that. It's something to think about. What is the cloud? We haven't thought this through, people. The cloud is a place where I'm going to store data. I don't know what computer it's on or even what country it's in. I don't know who is managing it and monitoring it and controlling it. I don't know what type of security facilities you have. I know nothing. And I'm willing to put my valuable data there? No. Why would we do that? And why do we use the cloud? We use it because it makes life easy. I can access my data from anywhere and from any device, on an airplane, my smartphone, my laptop, who cares? It would have to be a new type of cloud, a cloud that you, as the user, have control over to the extent that you get to choose the location of your data. The ridiculousness of wallets, keep in mind that if you've been to a pornography site, someone's watching you anyway. As soon as you install the wallet, you just gave up your wallet to any hacker who wants access to it. To keep the wallet on any intelligent device, whether it's your laptop, your desktop, or any mobile device, that's insane. It will get stolen. The world is changing rapidly. The entire world is teetering on the edge of a cliff, dangerously, where we are allowing these devices to basically become our masters rather than the other way around. And these devices are spy devices. We buy them so they can spy on us. And that's creating a great deal of danger.
If this can happen to me, I promise you, it can happen to anyone.
Happens all the time. The thing that concerns me is not so much the fact that the information was available. All of this information you can buy from Google. What concerns me is how did they get this information? My phone number, my address, my age, my marital status, my preferences. Once you get the information into a database, it will be hacked, and something we should be concerned about. But far more concerning to me is how did it happen? It happened because companies like Google and Facebook acquired data on every one of us, what blogs we are visiting, even our messages that we pass on Facebook, our instant messages on Twitter are accessible. And these things are collected so that we have no privacy. Every router that's in use, accessible to hackers, to the CIA, that they can take over the control of the router. They can monitor all of the traffic, and worse, they can download malware into any device that is connected to that router. So I personally never connect to any Wi-Fi system. Every router in America has been compromised. We have all known this, and we've been warning about it for years. Nobody pays attention until something like WikiLeaks comes up and says, look, this is what's happening. Then the world goes, oh, but we've been saying it for years. And it is devastating in terms of the impact on American privacy, our individual privacy, because once the router is compromised and it infects the cell phones that are attached, your laptop, your desktop computer, your tablet, then they become compromised. And not only can you watch the data, you can start listening to conversations. You can start watching through the cameras on these devices. If you actually go to Starbucks and get on the free Wi-Fi, you're being very foolish, because not only is the router compromised at Starbucks, but there are people in Starbucks that have devices pretending to be Wi-Fi. And you're connecting to them sometimes. And they're monitoring all of your traffic, reading your emails, Listen, and your text messages. I use the LTE on my phone. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the only way that I can be secure.
I am a specialist in cybersecurity. My phone was hacked through my carrier, AT&T. And what happened, this is brand new to me. They managed to hack into AT&T to move my phone number to another phone. Prior to being hacked, my phone was totally disabled. You couldn't call into it. I could not call out from it. So everything coming in, including my text messages, went to another phone number. So what they had done is they tried to log on to Twitter, said I've lost my password. I used two-factor authentication, meaning I have to give Twitter my phone number. They sent to my phone number a special code so that I could get in, but it wasn't me, it was the hacker. This is something totally out of my control, totally out of everyone's control. Hackers are becoming more and more proficient and more sophisticated in their hacking techniques. If this can happen to me, I promise you, it can happen to anyone. It's not just all the apps we use, it's not just Twitter, a recommendation. For the new alternative coins, alternative to Bitcoins, cryptocurrencies. People would invest hundreds of millions of dollars into these coins. What the hacker did was he recommended 6 different coins within 6 minutes and invested, I'm sure, much money beforehand into those coins. As the coins rose, the hacker sold his money. He may have made tens of millions of dollars. If they can do it for me, again, they can do it for anyone. We're living in a new world of hacking and a new world of risks for all of us using the internet. If your carrier is the one who's being hacked, I don't care how foolproof your smartphone is, it's not going to work. So my smartphone would not help in this case. It wouldn't do anything. If your carrier, if someone has intercepted the signal to your phone and they shunt it to some other phone, there's nothing that my phone can do. My phone can help you from applications that get on your phone, but no, it could not have prevented this. I mean, that's nonsense. What happened to me is not a threat, but there's a great threat to all miners. There's a great threat to all people who hold cryptocurrencies. Most people do not keep their currencies on their own wallet. They use wallets on the exchanges. Now, if I were a hacker trying to hack into wallets and get money, I wouldn't search around the world for individuals that had their wallets. No, I would go to an exchange. And the exchanges have billions of dollars in cryptocurrency. So yes, they're all at risk. Everybody says, no, we are secure. That has been proven over and over and over again to be absolute nonsense, beginning with Mt. Gox a couple of years ago, where hundreds of millions of dollars were lost. This will continue to happen until people, the owners of the exchanges, understand that the world they are in is far more sophisticated in terms of hacking than they believe. And I promise you, every exchange will at some point in the near future get hacked. And if you have your wallet on those exchanges, you will lose your money because they do not have the resources to reimburse you.